Part of our annual formality, I suppose this should have been done in December, but we can do it now, is the 2017-2018 Conservation Commission budget. So everybody got a copy of this?
Question.
Yes.
Yeah.
I went far back in time on this, apparently.
Why do we always ask for 4,500? I see we never receive it, but what is there a basis for that amount?
For that amount? Well, every year we've used our full amount.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, I think in some cases have exceeded our amount and then had to dip into the general funds.
Mm-hmm.
So by putting down more, with the expectation that we will use it because we have been using it in the past. So, and also the expectation that it will get knocked down. It's just the nature of the budget process.
Right.
Well, maybe if we propose like 2,500.
Be more modest.
But then they say 700.
No, I don't think we'd be cut below the
No.
budget we've been having the last couple of years. But I would suggest maybe we go in at 2,500.
Yeah.
I know that we have, and it would also make it, because there are a couple of events, a couple of conferences during the year that would be nice to get people to go to. But if we don't have the funds for them, but again, I'd say maybe just this year go to 2,500.
I'm open to that. I don't have a
Reverse psychology.
Well, no, I was thinking that
Ask
too.
them
That's
less, you
why I
get more now.
asked, but
Right.
I wasn't sure how.
Yeah.
You want to make a motion?
And there's a history, I guess, behind the Conservation Commission's budget getting cut down to where it is now. But
yes, and you're aware of.
we haven't been doing any of that. So
No,
I
we've been
think
good.
that by the mere fact that we've been doing the Commission's business and not getting into things that are outside of our purview, I think we've shown that we're not irresponsible with the fund. So I would suggest we go to 2,500.
Okay.
Other than that, I think the rest of it looks good.
Yeah, and I don't believe we've come close to hitting 4,500 in professional services in years past. We may have come close to 4 with the two appraisals that we had to do last year, but that was in last year's budget.
Will we be responsible for an appraisal for a property if it's going to be sold in the coming year? Or purchased?
Purchasing, yes. Appraisals on sale of properties, that wouldn't come under us.
So, for instance, if this grant application somehow came to fruition and we wanted to purchase, we'd need to do an appraisal this year for that?
Well, I think we covered that in the last meeting. There was a...
It's been done.
Yeah,
That's
it's
taken
like
care of.
there was a $700 or $1,000
700.
refresh of
Okay.
the appraisal. But my point is that we do at times go above. Unfortunately, it's been able to be absorbed through the general fund. Any other thoughts or comments on the budget? All right. So, is there a motion to approve the 2017-2018 budget with just that one change to 2,500 for professional services?
I'll make that motion.
No, second.
All right. Any further discussion? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Okay. Next on tonight's agenda is trail walks.
That's a hot topic.
It's a very contentious topic, trail
Yeah,
walks.
watch
Oh
out.
my gosh. At our last meeting, we talked about what we were going to be doing for 2017, and the first walk was going to be January with Frank at the country club. This one completely slipped my mind with all the holiday happenings and whatnot.
Yeah.
I think it's still valuable to have a trail walk at the country club, and my thinking is in 2 weeks, perhaps February 4th, and we could, in addition to having it be a advertised trail walk, it could also be a special meeting. Because I think it would be valuable for such a walk to get rec involved, QPOP, and as many other commission members and members of the public involved as possible, because a lot of us have never been on the property other than maybe to the pool or to the clubhouse. So being able to walk the property in its entirety will give everybody a better idea of what's going on with the open space potential. I'm sure you've got something on the 4th.
Okay, wait, I'm
No,
sorry.
no, no.
What,
No, it's
what
just
weekend did
funny
you
because
say?
it's probably the only place I
It's
have
Saturday.
actually walked.
Oh,
Um,
this is true.
I will not be here February 4th.
Okay.
I think I can do the following weekend though.
Well, I don't think we're all gonna
I don't know if you were going to plan
technically
that. Okay.
be able to all get together anyway.
All right. So cool. Just letting you know I'm not there.
What time on the 4th?
It would likely be morning, and of course, being in February, weather is
Yeah.
always going to come into play. But
Okay,
my
so-
thought is maybe 9:30.
9:30.
I'm sort of hijacking your trail walk there, Frank.
Are you going to be there?
Yeah, if we don't have snow.
Or if we do have snow, Tom can bring his snowshoes.
I have snowshoes, you know. Good.
Do you have any extras for loners? You know,
No, I
Oh,
don't.
no,
I need them for myself.
It's going to be warm from now on.
is it? It's going to be 50 degrees just like tomorrow.
Yep.
It is a beautiful walk, though.
From now on.
Yeah.
I declare it.
I've golfed it and walked it.
So I think pushing that into February, which might then, and yeah, we had nothing scheduled in February anyway for a
You
trail
probably know
walk.
the area, Tom, pretty well, then, obviously.
Yeah, but how would you want to do it?
Yeah.
If you want to walk it,
But
you
I
just
wondered
don't
that
want to walk the
myself.
perimeter of it. But then you could walk it as a golf course. But I think you want to get into the middle of it and out to the sides. And I was just by there last weekend, and I think I counted 250, 300 Canada geese out there on the pond off of Johnson Road. And there's all kinds of wildlife on that piece of property.
If you walk the holes, Tom, you'll pretty much get.
Right, that's what I'm saying. If you wanted to walk it as a golf course,
yeah.
you'd see the whole place.
Instead of the perimeter.
Yeah.
Instead
It runs
of
along the
walking,
edge.
instead of just walking the trail, the cart path.
Oh, okay, so the
Right.
cart path. So if we went from
So if you walk the
tee-
fairway,
tee
yeah, just walk
down
the
to
fairway.
hole, all the way
Just
through.
follow the course route, because
Right.
it pretty much runs along the edges of the whole
Right.
route.
So I've never got my hands on a map of what the golf course was. Does anybody have a course map?
Oh, we could get one.
They have them from the, yeah, you can get one.
Yeah, that way we could
Jerry Shaw.
we could plan.
Jerry, I'm sure Tony has them.
Tony, Jerry.
I figure what, a 2-hour
Yeah.
walk? I don't know how long.
And it's always, you can always advertise it. If anyone gets tired, they can just turn around and walk back. I mean, it's not that far. If you want to walk back from pretty much any place on there, it's not
Not
that
too
bad a
far back
walk.
up to the clubhouse area.
No, and it is a walk up from Johnson Road.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Other than contacting Rec and QPOP, any other thoughts about Land Trust, Parks Association?
You can invite them all. But I think it'd be good to get Coopop and Rec there. If they,
Yeah.
How do you publicize these? Just curious, 'cause
We'll do
Website.
email and Facebook for the town. I've put posts on the Bethany Woodbridge Facebook page as well.
it also goes on the town website on their events, things that are coming up.
Calendar now.
Yep. And Lauren is a fantastic publicist.
Yes,
She got a lot of people out for her walk, so.
because I was nervous.
So if I put you in charge of this one, you'll get nervous again and invite lots
Yes,
of people?
that's fine. I can do this one. I was supposed to do March, but I'll do February. Okay,
Well,
good.
or at
I'm
least
doing it.
you should at least do the publicity for it.
I'll do the publicity. I love publicity.
I'll switch with March for you. I'll do March.
Okay, I'm
'Cause
kidding, but they're fine.
Because I did mess up on doing,
December?
Okay, great.
Yeah.
It'll make you feel guilty.
so March, I'll do March.
All right, I'm gonna do
And I was
the
actually thinking
publicity
behind the
for
Darling
February
House.
4th.
Mm.
Do that.
That's
Thank you.
Because that one is topical as well.
Yes, it is. fingers crossed on that.
Okay, and can I, do I have the power to invite Coopop and those people? And Land Trust and Rec? Or does that have to come from you?
It doesn't have to come from me, but let's at least coordinate so we're not both
Okay.
overlapping.
Great.
Is there some time urgency that we need this done by February 4th?
Well,
I
February's
think there's
coming
gonna-
up, so I want to make sure that people know about it soon.
Yeah, and my thought was that there's going to be, as we move into the 2017, which would, into spring, which would then be prepped for what used to be golf, now there's going to be questions about what's going on with the property, and I thought trying to head it off a little bit by getting people a little more aware and educated about what the property is, so that when the conversations come up, people will have some idea of what's going on. I don't know how many people the walk could attract. Hopefully more than 3.
I think you'll get a good crowd for the country club.
Yeah,
And then
I think there's a lot of interest there, so we'll probably get a few people.
Yeah.
And during the walk, I hope to have discussions about what people think about the property and what they think the future of it should be. Because talking about it in a room like this is completely different than
Actually,
standing out in the
Yeah.
middle of a field surrounded by Canada geese. Or Canada geese poop, one or the other.
That's right.
All right.
So Tom, you said you're gonna do March?
I'll do March.
Yeah.
Tentatively behind the Darling House.
Okay. Bishop East,
Pardon me?
Bishop East.
Cool. Yeah, so that's roughly 2 weeks away,
Yeah.
that country club walk. All right. If there's nothing else on trail walks, next on the agenda is to I have take action on the open space and watershed acquisition grant, the Connecticut Deep grant. And we had identified 1875 Litchfield Turnpike as our focus, also known as the Nugent property. And Betsy, do you have some updates?
I do. I just, excuse me, just this week I got, received both proposals, or both appraisals back from the appraisers. One, the higher one at 230 stayed the same. The other one had been, I want to say it was 170 and it's down to 150. Okay, I'm not sure exactly of the numbers. It came down by about $20,000, which brings the average of the two to 200,000. I think it had been 210 or 220 before. Not sure how thrilled the Nugents are going to be with that, but Jerry Weiner either has or will soon be reaching out to them to start talking about price.
Okay.
Because the grant will cover up to 65% of fair market value, which is why we needed the 2 appraisals to average the price out.
Yeah. Yep. And currently the open space fund in town stands around 80,000,
Yeah.
which would certainly cover up to somewhere around 230, assuming we got a full 65% award from the state.
So we have the funds to purchase the property.
We've got the funds to match the grant if we've got the full 65% award. Yeah.
Any indications of the owner's intentions? yet?
Well, we'll see what they say once they're given the average of the 2 appraisals.
Have you gotten in touch with all the relatives, Betsy?
Before we touched base with the appraisers, I wanted to hear from all 4 owners that they were all interested in at least talking about the sale.
That's what I'm
And
saying.
they've all told me that they were interested. Doesn't mean that it's going to go through, but at a minimum, they're all very willing to have the conversation.
That's all we can ask for.
It
Yeah.
sounds better than it has in the past.
Yeah.
Up to this point, anyhow.
Sure.
Right?
That one action that I was going to request that we do just to make it formal is a motion to apply for this grant for this particular parcel. We did have a motion back in, I think it was October, to re-engage with Nugent, but we didn't explicitly say, let us apply for the grant.
So I make a motion that we apply for the grant for
For
the
it?
property.
Yeah. Okay.
I'll second it.
Any other discussion about applying for the grant focused on 1875?
The statement of need, I think, could be approached a little differently.
Oh, in the grant application itself?
Yeah. I think, it starts out by saying, the first thing we say is there's a dramatic view for hikers. I think we should start by saying something about, protecting the West River and public water supply and protecting wildlife, and they then say the unique terrain that you mentioned, and then how it's basically an island between two public properties, how it would be a connection. And then I'd finish up with the dramatic view. I don't know. I mean, that's kind of nice, but I don't know if that would be my...
that might have been my lead-in, because I was standing at the bottom of West Rock looking up going, wow,
What a view.
that is crazy. Because if you've been at the base of West Rock with the rubble pile, it is
Yeah.
unbelievable.
I can send you my thoughts on that. if
I'm
you
going
care.
to have you go direct to Betsy on that, because she's
Okay.
compiled everything into the proper format for the grant.
Okay.
But I think the language is pretty much the same. What I had sent around, because I didn't make any substantive changes since last year.
Yeah, and I've just done some minor stuff this year. I've been comparing what we have written with the grant application to make sure nothing's changed and make sure that what we have matches up with what they're asking for.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, if there's some wording changes, go for it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great.
Absolutely open to.
That's my thing. Words.
Words.
Wordsmithing.
Yeah.
All right. All in favor of the motion? Aye. All right. Unanimous. So we'll hopefully, now the grant is due February 1st.
Yes.
So fingers crossed we're agreeable to the price.
We'll see.
All we can do is keep trying. Because I think it's a compelling grant, honestly.
It's a great spot. It's a great area that.
Because even
really
the state,
go well.
the state would want it, but they just don't have the thought that the state would grant money to buy it, but the state themselves aren't going to go after it. Funny how that goes.
It opens up to other properties almost all the way around. I mean, either state properties or other town-owned properties. So
It does, and
great area.
by crossing that parcel, you get back onto state of Connecticut land on an established
Yeah.
trail loop, and you pretty much
West Rock Bridge.
you essentially double the East Bishop Trail distance. So if the East Bishop Trail distance is 1.5 miles, you're adding another 1.5 miles of trail to it, and it's a nice loop down by West River. So fingers crossed.
I also got something. I'm looking for it now. It's on from Connecticut Audubon about open space, purchasing open space properties
Oh yeah.
for the protection of birds and wildlife. I'll find that and forward it to you. I don't know if it's germane to this or not, but
All right. Through Connecticut Audubon specifically, or is it National Audubon?
no, it's Connecticut, I believe it, and it's regarding a proposed legislation in the state of Connecticut. I'll find it. I'll forward it to you, and you can let me know if you think it's germane.
Okay.
But I read it today, so it's somewhere in here.
And my expectation is that as the budget in Connecticut gets smaller, these grants will also dwindle a little bit. So hopefully the stars align for us this year. Okay. Next up is to discuss and consider recommendations on 31 Enoch Drive. We've previously discussed this property. The reason I put this on the agenda this evening was because I was hoping to get a formal recommendation from this commission, one way or the other. Now, there's been some news since, what is it, last week was the Board of Selectmen?
I think so. Is that right? Last week?
Last week was the, and I know this parcel was discussed at that point. And Betsy or Joe, do you want to make any comment about any public info from that at this point?
Was this to be an executive session meeting?
Well, yeah, I mean, the update is that we had voted as a board to approve first selectman to negotiate for the sale of that property.
Okay.
So that's the update. That's where it sits now.
Okay. So because there's official negotiations going on around this property, I feel it's appropriate for us to actually enter into an executive session, because there's a Connecticut General Statutes talking about possible sale of real estate by a town, and when there's negotiations going on, we're allowed to go into an executive session, and I think it's appropriate at this point to do that. So I'm first going to make a motion that we amend our agenda to include an executive session for discussion of 31 Enoch Drive.
Okay.
Is there a
I'll
second?
that motion.
Is there any discussion about amending the agenda? All in favor of amending the agenda to add the executive session? Okay.
We have to ask all of the public to step out.
Well, the next the next motion is there a motion to go into the executive session that we have just added to the agenda?
I'll make that motion.
And would you like to invite the two of us?
Yes, Betsy and both
Joe.
of you over there, Joe.
Joe.
Blanking on people's names right now. I'm trying to get it all right. Yeah, face that nameplate over here. I'll get it right. Because you both do have some information that
Correct.
I don't.
critical.
So it'll benefit us in our discussion. So is there a motion to go into executive session at
So
this
moved.
point? Is there a second?
Yes.
I'll second.
You'll second?
Yeah.
Fabulous. All in favor of going into executive session?
Aye.
Unanimous? Okay. At this point, we'll excuse the public. And we're back. Okay. We have now left executive session, during which there were no motions or no votes taken. Now, from executive session, do we have a motion on the table from our discussion?
Would someone like to make?
Would someone like to make a motion from our discussion?
Yeah.
Tracy. Oh my gosh.
I
All right, I'll make the
Jason,
motion.
make
I
the
will make the motion
Okay.
that, based upon our very thorough review and discussion, we feel that the property could be sold, contingent upon a couple items that we would like to recommend. That a buffer be put around the trail to prevent encroachment, waste, and whatnot, blockage of the trail, and that the funds from the sale be put towards purchase of other open space in town or improvements on existing open space or other undeveloped properties that the town owns. I know that was a lot. Getting that all down, Betsy?
Mm-hmm.
Or
You want to read it back before we second it, or?
Let's check and scratch, but you feel the property could be sold contingent on the following recommendations. A buffer, you didn't specify the width. A buffer would prevent blockage of the trail, and that the funds from the sale would be used for open space functions such as preservation and purchase. Is that
And
accurate?
did you mention the easement? That there would be an easement? I didn't hear easement in there.
Well, the buffer would be along the trail.
So
easement.
let's call the buffer the conservation easement, or the pedestrian easement.
I think Tracy once specified, and I would agree, that as part of your approval, that we make sure we get an easement that
Right, but
Protects
preserves
the
this
trail.
as a part, yeah, as a part of
in
the
perpetuity for, yeah.
as a part of the purchase,
Right.
we would require that that the trail be legally protected through an easement in perpetuity, and that the trail to be negotiated by the Board of Selectmen currently.
Right.
But we want to make sure that
And in addition there to the other.
right,
Right.
and that the funds go to the open space fund.
Right, and the buffer.
Do you want to be so specific to say that there's an easement to ensure access, reasonable access, so it's not like through his pool or something, or do we not need to be that specific?
Oh,
We're
well,
actually talking about.
I think the easement on the existing
Is
trail.
it- enough,
The existing
yeah.
easement where it's been mapped out by
Correct.
Bob Criscola,
Yeah.
right,
Yep.
that we just saw.
Okay.
Yep. And understand that when we speak of the trail, we're talking of how it passes on Enoch as well as the abutting property.
Right, we're not talking about the gas line easement.
Correct.
Talking about the current trail.
Correct.
We want the current trail to be legally protected, which is what we believe the intent of the purchase was, although the property, the trail was actually never legally protected through that purchase. So we had no easement to protect that trail, so we're trying to protect the greenway, keep it open, but also protect that trail, legally protect that trail.
Yes.
Right. So does any of that change what the motion did?
So I've got 3 points here.
Yes.
The buffer, open space funds, and that the trail be protected in perpetuity through an easement.
Right.
Can we say 25 feet on each side?
I would
Optimistically, ideally,
I would like that to be a recommendation.
or recommendation? Okay.
So 50-foot buffer.
So the buffer 25 on each side.
Right.
Where applicable.
Where,
or
yeah,
Where applicable.
where it can be.
Where it could.
So there's going to be a place where it may be 50, we don't have 50 feet.
Yeah,
Right,
where applicable.
Where it
right.
helps.
Up top there.
Right,
We're-
All right. So that's the motion. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
We've already had some discussion. Any final discussion on this matter? My one point is that I will resubmit this letter that I'd written a while ago that also talks a bit about the property itself with trees and what it abuts and whatnot. But I'll submit a letter to the Board of Selectmen.
And when it, and hopefully get on the agenda for the next meeting.
Yeah, I could have that on the next agenda, just as a presentation. All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Very good. Okay. Now on to the next 5 items on the agenda. Okay. There's only one more. Only one more.
So funny.
Doesn't it feel good to have it off your plate?
Okay.
It does. The last item on the agenda is the chairman's report. I just have 2 items in front of me here. The first item is that on Saturday, March 18th, this is the Connecticut Land Conservation Conference at Wesleyan in Middletown. I've been to this in the past. It's a full-day event, lots of workshops.
Great event.
Yeah, you've been to it as well. Members of the Land Trust have attended, Parks Association, and we do have money to send ourselves through professional development fees to go to it. So I encourage everybody to attend. And the only other item is a follow-up on the Racebrook Tract. Earlier in 2016, I guess it was in the fall, there has been note from the Orange Conservation Commission that there's been a lot of damage and new trails cut through on that property. I had an email from the Orange Conservation Commission here just today that they've put up 3 signs on the Racebrook area, including the
Just the
Clearview.
motocross bikes.
Yeah, well, no bikes are allowed on the trail at
Okay.
this point in time. There's one sign that was put up at Clearview, which is the Woodbridge trailhead, although it's not a well-known trailhead, but it's our own trailhead versus the regular parking area on Racebrook Road.
Which is where we started our,
Yeah.
we had a walk start there.
Yeah, on Clearview one time. Yeah. So those signs are up, so no biking until, I think it was done until May or June. And then they'll pull the signs down and hopefully people behave themselves and stop making new trails, because there are plenty already in place. Okay. With that said, is there a motion to adjourn?
I make a motion to adjourn.
And Julie, a second?
Second.
Everybody will second that?
Yes.
All right, all in favor?
Thank you.
Aye.
Aye.